Ready, set, go.
Welcome to The Sweet Spot, an UpDog podcast. I'm Andrea Morissette.
And I am Jack Bailey.
That's Cat
And
Bailey.
we are your guests today. And I've got a cold and a little bit of a cough. So sorry about that, you guys. You're going to probably hear that a couple times.
We both do.
And Kat is next to me as our guest and pod head. And we've got quite the episode for you today, right, Dre?
It's my favorite topic. Can you guess what it is, Jack?
Four-way play?
No.
Oh, dang it. I got it wrong.
Freestyle. So we have a conversation today about big freestyle changes. Big freestyle changes. So we've been in a lot of conversation since UpDIF, and every year. Obviously all of our founders are passionate about all of our games, but Jack and I happen to be particularly passionate about freestyle. And so we are always getting together as soon as the rounds end, as soon as the event ends, ask how it went, ask what we thought, ask how we can make it better. And that's something that we're really committed to here at UpDog, is making our games better every single year. And we had some great ideas after the last couple of years with some challenges that were really hard for the team to manage logistically. And we think that we can improve the game based on some results we've had over the past few years. So we have big ideas that we've all agreed on, the team's all agreed on. We're ready to roll them out, and we're so excited to talk to you guys about them today.
Absolutely. So, and I will also say that nothing here is set in stone. Most of these ideas are pretty firm, but if you have thoughts about them, put them in the comments. We'd love to hear that. There's definitely room for final tweaking. So none of these ideas are just pie in the sky ideas. They are pretty firm, but like I said, just like Dre said, rather, we always want to have the best opportunities for our players to do well, the best opportunities for our judges, like the tools that we give to our judges so that they can do an efficient and accurate job of scoring, all of those things. So we're open to tweaks, is what I'm saying. So comment, let us know your thoughts about some of these big changes that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So
the first change, we are talking about UpDIF changes specifically, but we're also talking about general freestyle changes also. So we are talking specifically about what's going to happen at UpDIF differently next year, but we're also making changes to the actual format a bit of one of our freestyle games. So Jack, do you want to start?
Well, actually, let's let Kat, because this first one is kind of a big logistics thing. So, Kat, you want to talk about the first big change kind of at UpDIF with freestyle?
All right. So at UpDIF 2026, we will only be doing one round of freestyle. Everybody gets to do one round. No cuts, no second rounds. Just everybody does one round, and that round is going to be the performance round. So, yay! For me anyway. I hope other people are happy about that. I know some will be disappointed, but logistically it will be a lot smoother, and we have other things in mind for our freestyle teams that we'll talk about.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is best for logistics, but it's also not just about logistics. It's also about, anybody that comes to UpDIF, well, I shouldn't say anybody, most people that come to UpDIF are coming to compete at a high level in more games than just freestyle. Yep. And when your freestyle is spread out over the course of
3 days,
3 days, and hopefully not more than that, but we hope to bring it back down to 2 days. And dogs need to be at their best and freestyle's a demanding game. It's the longest game. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. We're expecting a lot of our players and our dogs out there on the field. So we want to give them the best shot at performing well. So, of course, it's about logistics, but it's also about keeping in mind this is a long event, and we want our dogs and people to be fresh throughout the whole thing.
Correct.
Yeah. So, for me, obviously, I love freestyle more than any other game. And so losing the second round of freestyle, especially because it's Criterion, which is something I'm very passionate about, was a bit of a challenge for me. And there's no way we would ever consider taking away the performance round from our players. And that's part of the reason why we did UpDIF the way that we did this year, is we had performance first, because we knew we wanted every team to be able to do the performance round, and so we did the cut at Criterion. But we didn't feel like it had the same energy and vibe on the last day when we were watching all the teams. To have it be Criterion had a different vibe than ending on performance with all the fun and the excitement in the crowds and all that. So that was one of the big things, is kind of like, what was the energy? We want the UpDiff experience to be like amazing, right? And so that's what Kat was just kind of alluding to. If it goes over 3 days and it's really high demand for the dogs, and you have other games you also want to perform too well, like UpDiff isn't just about freestyle, even though freestyle is the culmination of skills that we're like wanting you guys to learn through our other games. It's not all about, as much as I would like it to be, it's not all about freestyle. So I think the one round will make it logistically a lot easier for Kat. There's not going to have to be any more reordering, so she won't have to do these late reseating of the running orders on like a Friday night, which is in the middle of event. It's like she's already been in 3 or 4 days, and then doing that until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning has just been really hard. So, we want it to be great for our team and our admin team too, and that's been a struggle for them over the years. And so we want them to come back. And if we want, if you don't take care of your team, then they don't take care of you either. So we're a well-oiled machine. I think that losing the Criterion round is a little bit of a bummer, but I think ultimately it's going to be a better UpDiff experience for everybody.
And it makes freestyle equitable with the other games.
Right.
Like, you don't ever play any other game 2 rounds, except when we were doing like the feature game, but we even dropped the feature game. So, now freestyle is like all the other games. You get 1 round.
Yep.
And you do your best.
Yep. Bring it, freestylers.
Given that I'm really sad about that we're not going to have Criterion, and one of the concerns about that is if we don't feature it at UpDiff, like, players might not play it at events, right? And so we would essentially lose like the value of the Criterion round. So given that probable problem that would come up from this solution for UpDiff, what do we have in mind for freestyle, Jack?
Well, first of all, that would be illegal.
Correct.
If clubs were to do that. In other words, just offer the performance round all the time. And when they least expect it, a official from UpDog would show up and shut down their club. That's what would happen. So don't do that.
So let's clarify what the rule is.
So the rule is that you should approximately, it's not like a hard and fast rule, but if you play freestyle 6 times, your club should be equitable. 3 of those times should be performance, 3 of those times should be Criterion. You don't have to like alternate this week and then next week and this week and next week, but at the end of your season, we shouldn't see that you played performance round 5 times and Criterion only 1. Criterion is super important because that is where our teams get feedback from the judges to improve. They get specifics about what pieces of their game they're doing well with and what pieces of their game they can look to get better at. So if we don't provide those to our teams, they're going back and all they have is a number, and they don't know what that number meant. They don't know what you saw or didn't see in their round. And so the Criterion round is super important. We don't want to give that up, and we don't want to give that up at big competitions either. It's just the one competition. It's just UpDiff where it's not going to take place, and we're going to talk to you about how we're going to try to
make up for that.
Yeah, I was about to cough. Sorry.
No time. Come on.
Yeah, how we are going to make sure that we honor our freestyle teams with both of their rounds and celebrate our teams that are working really hard at their freestyle game. So first thing was, don't do what Dre said there. Don't just offer the performance round, or the UpDog authorities will come down on you.
Take all your scores.
There will be consequences.
Consequences.
And it's for the benefit of our teams that we do that Criterion round. So we also, you guys have probably heard whispers on previous podcasts if you've been listening closely.
I think it was way more than a whisper.
Way more than a whisper. But this year, we're throwing it out there, Dre. Like, we're saying we're doing
this is the moment. So this is
this year.
Worst case scenario, it happens in our yard. So
yeah. This year, we will have a freestyle invitational where we will invite the top freestyle teams from around the world, the top UpDog freestyle teams from around the world. And, Dre and I will figure out exactly how we're going to pick those teams, but placements at UpDIF will definitely play a part. Your averages throughout the year will definitely play a part.
Yep.
And so
divisions.
your divisions, right? So
Well, this
we will
isn't going to
do
be
that.
like 5 people. This isn't going to be like an 8 person. This isn't the AKC Disc Challenge where
Right,
there's 4 or 5
right.
people. We're looking like 30, 40 people. Potentially, we don't have the numbers set yet, but we're looking for a large amount of freestyle teams that would allow the categories to have some competition also.
Yes. Yeah. And we're looking for a nice venue to do this at. We're looking for possibly anytime from the summer months on into the fall. We're looking at that time frame to do it. So I know that's kind of broad, but we'll get the information to you as soon as possible so that you can start planning for that. We'll let you know who's being invited as soon as possible so that you can start planning again. And at the Freestyle Invitational, what are we going to do, Dre? Is it just a performance round? What's happening?
Ooh. We're going to be playing both rounds, performance and criterion, and we'll be combining them for an overall champion. So it'll be like we had done at UpDIF in the past without the cut, but it's not going to be spread over 3 or 4 days. It'll all happen in one day, like you would go to a normal, or maybe 2 days. But it would happen in a weekend and you'd just be focusing on freestyle. So we won't be playing a bunch of other games in that qualifier. We might throw a game or two in there for fun, but it won't impact the freestyle score. So we're not going to be combining toss and fetch. We're not going to be doing any of that stuff. It is a pure freestyle championship. That is the last thing we want to do is add throw and go in the mix. Like that's what started UpDog. It's not going to happen. If you guys want to play throw and go on the side, just warm your dog up. Have fun. But we're going to be freestyling at the Freestyle Invitational, and we are looking for a larger number of teams than you would expect for an invitational. So we're really excited about like how that's even going to look. We are looking at summer months, and so because we are looking for summer months, we may be looking for a more northerly location, depending on if we can find them or not. And we don't know the logistics of that either. But we know that our players have been asking for a more northern event for a while, and because we can't logistically do that with UpDIF right now, this would be an opportunity to maybe give you guys a shot for that. So if you have particular locations up there that you think would be a great option in the summer months, that Midwest North area and Northeast area is beautiful. So we wouldn't be able to do that in the South. It'd be too hot. And then all the way through those November dates we were talking about as possibilities, but we really don't want to directly conflict with everybody traveling around the entire time, September, October. We don't want you guys to have to choose between the different, and we want, like was mentioned in the comments, we would like to be able to play and compete ourselves also, since we don't have the opportunity to do that at UpDIF. So are you going to be competing at the Freestyle Invitational, Jack? Oh, you're muted.
I know I was coughing. So yeah, Dre, I didn't tell you, but I am entering under an alias. My dogs will also be under an alias. And I'll be wearing a full costume during both rounds so that you cannot tell who I am.
Dinosaur, something.
Did you ever watch Top Gear?
No.
Oh. Well, anybody who's watched Top Gear, what's the guy's name?
Stig.
The Stig, that's right. There's like this guy that always runs the cars around the lap as fast as he can, but he's a secret. Nobody knows who he is. So I will be the Stig.
You're the Stig. Okay, we got to get you a Stig sticker. All right, so we know now that we're adjusting UpDIF to have only one round of performance round freestyle. And now we know we're going to have a freestyle invitational that's going to take place somewhere between the summer months and November-ish. And if it's summer months, it'll be north, and if it's November-ish, it won't. Because we all know it starts snowing like Midwest area maybe in November, so we would have to be in the earlier months. So we're playing with the dates. But again, if you guys have ideas of locations that are great a certain time of year, throw them in the comments. We're Southeast people, so we only know so much about the details of other locations.
So, well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
So we have other changes too.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. So since we've got this focus at UpDIF on the performance round, anybody who's ever done any judging freestyle judging for UpDog. Anybody that's ever gone through the class knows that we've been trying to tweak the tools for judges in the performance round for years now. We started out the first year at UpDIF was like the wild, wild west with the performance round. And there weren't really any rules for the judges. And, the scores were given based on the performance and based on how the judges felt about it. And, we've been tweaking it ever since. And we still feel like we haven't found that perfect mix. And so we've been tweaking a little bit more. One of the things, if you've ever gone through the judges training, that I harp on a lot is that during the performance round, you don't, as a judge, you don't forget everything that you know about good freestyle and just go based on good vibes. Like that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Right. So you learned all about the UpDog criteria. You should take all of that knowledge with you into your scoring of the performance round. And the majority of your score, the majority of the 10 points that they award a team, should still come from a great round of freestyle. The dog, the team, the human, that should still be going through my head, while at the same time being able to give out those 2 bonus points for performance. But what happens?
It's really hard.
It is hard. I tell people all the time in the judges course, yes, it's easy because all you have to do is throw out a number between 0 and 10, but it is way more difficult to throw out the right number in performance round than it is to throw out the right number in criterion round. You've got more time during the criterion round to make your choice. You've got a big list of things that you can look at and go, okay, did the dog do this? Did the dog do that? Here's what score I'm giving. It's not that way in the performance round. So it is the harder round to judge. And Dre and I have felt, and really the team has felt, because this was not just a Dre and I decision. Like we talked about a lot of the changes and came up with the proposals, but the team talked it out together. We don't feel like we've provided the judges with all of the tools that could help them. And so we've tweaked the tools a little bit. And actually, in the Facebook post, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the Facebook post for this episode, I posted the new tool for the performance round in that post. So you can take a look at the new tool for our judges.
Tell me what the tool is, Jack.
What?
Tell me what the tool is.
So instead of 10 points, which was really hard to do this 8 and 2 split, it just didn't seem to like match up with
because
things in your head, because there's 3
right.
categories. There's a dog, human, and team as part of the criterion round, and then you've got this performance round, and the 3 dog, human, and team were supposed to add up to 8 points. So you can't even say, well, you get 2, and you get 4. I don't know how that works, right? Like it was really hard to kind of split things with the 8 and 2. So what we've done is we've actually given every category, dog, human, team, and performance, 3 points. So instead of, what's that?
And little boxes, like, because here's the thing, before we had given them 8 and 2, but there were no little boxes, there were sticky notes.
Right.
And it's so easy to just like write down a number based on habit from judging other organizations or whatever, picking a number that based on, the scale that you're used to. But if we give you boxes to fill out, 3 points for human, 3 points for dog, 3 points for team, 3 points for performance.
Right.
And you have to be accountable on the rubric. So on the top of the page, there's a rubric, just like for our other freestyle ones, that breaks down what 0 looks like and what 3 looks like. So as you're scoring the performance round, you can look up and be like, oh, well, this team did this consistently, but not throughout the whole round. Then you know your point range. This team, so you shouldn't be given 2.5 to 3 points for any category unless they are operating at a high level with high success consistently throughout the whole round. And so you'll start to see the scores start to make a little bit more sense. And it'll be more feedback for the players also to know what category they could use some more work in. And before, we really didn't have any feedback in performance. Like it was nebulous. People are like, okay, I guess you like my costume, or I got good points because, and it's like you don't really know what you're getting paid for. So people could at least go look at their score and be like, oh, my player score was a 1.5. I tanked, but my dog was a 2.5. Then you know that you as a player didn't do a great job that time. Maybe your team score was great. I think that's another big thing for performance is some people go out, they dance well, they put on a great show, but the level of their delivery of skills is low. Mostly backhand throws in close proximity, low separation, that kind of stuff. This is a way of really dialing in for the player. How can they get themselves to that next layer of freestyle and performance by having an excellent performance and teamwork, but also being able to have to be accountable for the caliber of the freestyle that we're doing.
And I know that, like, in my experience of judging on multiple panels, both locally and at other places, the judges weren't breaking it down. Like, they're just turning in their number as a number. Whereas when I judge, this is my dog, this is my,
that's how we do
my
it.
performance number, and this is my, dog human team number. And I didn't see other judges doing that. So I really think that this will, well, not I think, I know it will force them to do that. And like we've already said, the huge bonus is now you have feedback from the performance round. It's not words written on a paper like with Criterion, but you have a number. You know what you can look at and improve, and or what you're killing or whatever,
And the teams that really excel at performance aspects, like, hey, don't feel like this is cutting you, because it's not. Like, performance is one of those 4 things that you get your 3 points for.
Oh, it's worth 3 points instead of 2.
Right, it's worth 3 instead of 2. And if I go out there and I'm a clinician with the dog, human, and team, but I'm not putting on a great performance, you can still catch me by not being quite as good in maybe some of the other areas, but I'm weak at performance, whereas that's your strength. You're going to be able to make up those points there. So we're still rewarding great performances because that's what the performance round is about. However, we just don't want it to turn into as a judge, I become emotionally overwhelmed, and I don't think about the dog, human, and team as much as I should, because overall, this is still a freestyle disc competition.
Yep.
And so we want the performance aspects to come within the realm of freestyle disc and not detract from freestyle disc. It should be supporting and making your freestyle disc even a better performance with your performance aspects. So I think that this is going to both support both types of teams and make sure that that our scoring is a little bit more efficient for our judges and a little bit more accurate for our judges. I think that this tool will definitely help our judges to score the performance round easier.
And if for some reason it doesn't, we'll tweak it again.
Exactly.
I just had the most interesting like comparison in my head is this is kind of like, because you had said like some of our teams are like clear performance teams, and then some of our teams are clear, like stronger in criteria. So this is kind of like the rollers versus air throws for long distance. It's like finding an equalizer for that, which is a whole nother podcast far out. But like that's the kind of thing. It's like we have performance people and we have criterion people, and how are they supposed to know how to make advantages one way or the other if there's not any clear criteria for performance? So I think I'm super excited about this. And I added up 4, 4, 4, and 4, and that doesn't equal 10. So what are we doing about the fact that now that equals 120 points for performance and only 100 for criterion?
So both the performance round and the criterion round will be out of 100%. So like whatever your points are, it'll be the percent out of 120. So in other words, like let's say that I earn 60 out of the 120 points. That's 50%. So I would actually get 50 points for the performance round. So the performance round, although it's out of 120 points, is not actually going to be worth more than the criterion round. Criterion round and performance round will be worth the same amount because they'll both be out of percentages. So in other words, if I get 50 points in the criterion round, I'll get 50 points because that's 50%. In the performance round, I would have to get 60 points in order to get those 50 percentage points. I hope that makes sense to people. If
Where's
not,
the math?
I'll have a tutorial later
I will make a video.
at
Um,
updogmath.com.
He only retired from math
Yeah,
partially.
2 years ago, last year. Okay, so here's another issue. So now we have boxes, and our judges are trained. Our judges are all trained on dog, human, team, and performance. Um, we have a celebrity judge that has no clue what they're doing, so how are they going to fill out boxes?
Oh, good question. You know what? I think the best thing to do is just get rid of them.
Got them.
So one of the things that like the spirit of the performance round has always been about like, like letting your emotions be part of your scoring, not the entire scoring, but be part of your scoring. And that layperson's kind of view was and is important to us, but we also know that looking at the data, overwhelmingly, the guest judge's score typically gets cut with a high and low. So they sit there for a day and a half
For their
and
stuff to not count
score, and maybe their scores count like, I don't know, like 10%
a quarter
of
of
the
the
time.
time.
And so it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to continue to have that person there when we're dropping the high and the low anyway, so that we can get to like kind of the center point of what the judges thought about that round, which is what we do. We pull the mean then at that point. So the guest judge and the fifth judge, where we pull the catch ratio judge, they will not be required for the performance round, which
Now
we
we
think
only
will, which will
Well,
sort of, but you know the answer. But I think this will help with logistics locally as well. You don't have to grab an extra person. It's going to help us at UpDIF. We don't have to ask the Minister of Tourism to come sit for a day and a half with us or anything.
2 days.
So the catch ratio judge, we're just coughing up a storm, all of us here,
catching your germs through the
through the internets. The catch ratio judge is going to stay the catch ratio judge during the performance round. So they will not be an additional performance judge like in the past. So there are only technically 3 people filling out the boxes for dog, human, team, and performance. The same 3 judges that you had for your criterion round.
Yep.
But the catch ratio judge is going to be there. They're going to still score the round, and they will have a catch percentage that if the judges would like it shared with them, they can have it shared. So there are plenty of times I know when I've been sitting in the performance round chair where I am like, whoa, that was amazing. That was an amazing round. And then it's not until later that I go back and maybe I watch the video and count the number of catches and misses that I realize that that team had like a 55% catch ratio. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I didn't catch all those misses that happened. And perhaps I gave too high of a score in the dog, human, and team categories with all of those misses. And so the catch ratio person is there to support the head judges. And if the head judges turn to the catch ratio judge and they're like, hey, can you tell me the catch percentage for that one? And they're like, yeah, it was 82 or whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. That was about what I thought it was. Or it was 95%. And they're like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize it was that high. I knew it was good, but I didn't realize it was that high. And maybe they give an extra quarter-point bump to the dog score or something. So they're there with extra data to help the judges, the head judges out with their scoring of the boxes.
Doesn't count
Or-
towards the score.
Or in the case that happened recently, locally,
Yeah.
we were doing the performance round, and 3 of us there happened to be 3 women and 2 men. Not that it has anything to do with it, but this is how it shook out. 2 of the guys, one of which was Jack, gave the round a higher score, and the 3 of us gals all gave a lower score, but we were very consistent and they were very consistent. And so afterwards we're like, what just happened here? Like, why were we so off? And all of the gals thought that the catch ratio was pretty low, and so we were taking that into account, and the guys were like, no way, we think the catch ratio was this. This happened to be a friend of ours that we were judging, so I asked her to go home and watch the video and do the catch ratio, and turns out the guys were right. So all three of us
Go
gals,
figure.
they got lucky. All three of us gals actually somehow got the impression that the catch
That's it.
ratio was lower than it was. Had we had that catch ratio judge there, this person would have scored better because we would have been able to say, what's the catch ratio? We would have been like, oh, okay, never mind. And that those things that we thought happened didn't happen.
Well, sometimes like if the catches happen, or the drops rather, if they happen all at once or more
Right.
towards the end of the round,
Right.
sometimes that can leave a bigger impression than, you know, when if they happen a little bit here, you get one there, one there. So having the number is super helpful.
Yeah. And I think that's the first time that something like that has ever happened so clear cut with the performance round.
Yeah.
That happened a few months ago, and it really kind of drove a message home
Interesting.
for me. Like it was a good learning experience. I'm like, okay, all right. We, again, we always talk about tweaking the performance round, and that really like I'm like, okay, we need to do something here.
And both camps, Landon and I and Kat and her gals were convinced that they were correct.
Yeah.
Like Landon and I were like, no, that was way better of a catch ratio than that dog normally has. That was really good for them. And Kat and her gang were like, no way, that was awful. Not
No,
awful,
we didn't
but
say it was awful.
but you know, that was a lot more misses than what you guys are thinking. So like it really was two people convinced that they were correct when they
Yeah.
really needed the data to help them make their scores.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, we're making these changes continuously in real time as we're going. We're continuing to tweak these. This is all just brand new stuff for us. Based on this conversation, Jack, I would submit the idea that we should have a box just for the catch percentage in there so that the players have that information
Yeah.
it doesn't count as a score, but we can have the box on there so
I
that
like
we
that.
can go back and look and be like, well, your catch ratio was this. Because if we don't have it written down, how are we going to get that information from the catch
I
ratio
can
person?
put it right over here.
Yep, I like that, Dre. Look at that. Witnessing changes in real time.
Changes real time. Yeah, so that link will be updated with the boxes for that Jack is going to change.
So when you guys see it, you'll see it with catch ratio.
Let me see what else we had. We talked about dropping the celebrity judge, and we have a catch percentage judge now. We talked about dropping the high-low and the one round at UpDiff. I think that's all the changes. So the next thing is, when does this start? Like, when does this go live?
So it starts right now. And what I mean by that is education starts right now. Like we want you guys, anybody who's listening to this podcast, like, you know, talk to your club members about it. Let them know about the changes that are happening because there have been hundreds of folks that have gone through the UpDog head judges training that are going to need to get like a reset on that performance round mindset. And Dre and I are going to put together some videos. We'll probably do some evening like
Zooms or groups,
Zooms or something like
questions.
that where people can come in and ask questions.
And judge some rounds, like maybe just one evening a week for a month or so. We just put some videos and we just judge some freestyle rounds.
So we're going to be doing a ton of that. The first time that this new scoring system with the performance round will be officially used is going to be at the Invitational. So the Invitational that happens sometime between July and November will be the first time that it happens. The official changes for everybody won't take place until January 1st. So
Easier.
next year, we will start this new process. So locally, if you're doing the performance round, you can continue to do it the way that you normally have. I hope, based on this conversation, if you are doing it, you're keeping in mind dog, human, and team as much as you can in the 8-2 split, with the knowledge that you'll have tools that'll help you make that easier in the new year. Another thing that teams could do, or clubs could do rather, is if you have the manpower, have somebody calculate the catch ratio during the performance round and provide that data to the head judges if they ask for it. That would be a great step towards the new system.
So the clubs aren't going to actually be rolling out the use of these new score sheets until January 1st, and that's primarily a programming thing. Like we need to adjust how our system collects the data. So instead of having
Yeah.
one score, we need different category scores now. We need to give Brian time to do that. And so that's on his list to do in order for us to roll out at the Invitational as a first test. So that really makes us, just gives us a window of opportunity to kind of flesh out any of the changes that we need to make. And then hopefully there'll be less updates and changes and bugs and stuff when it rolls out for you guys January 1st. But you'll have access to the score sheet. So you can play with it. If you're running local events, you can even like test it out and see, if anything comes up different between the two. If you're playing locally with friends, if you want to watch videos and have judging parties with your friends, just to be able to practice the new score sheets. That's all kind of fun stuff you can do. Because it's gonna feel more like Criterion when you're scoring it. It's not going to feel as much like the performance round. So
Yeah.
you're actually got to pay attention when you're watching the you can't just get caught up in the dance of it. You have to watch for human, dog, team, and performance, 4 categories instead of just one. So it should be a pretty fun challenge for everybody.
Yeah, I like that idea, Dre, of maybe having some video parties where we can score some folks and guys, keep in mind too, again, I say this at every judge training, we are judging. The definition of judging is we are going to be judgmental. We are
Yeah.
going to have our experiences, our opinions are going to play into things a little bit, but we don't want them to play into it too much. Like we don't want them to take over the score. We still want to try to abide as close as we can to the rubric and to the criteria that we know for dog, human, and team. But even when we have scoring parties, we're not all going to have the same score, and
Right.
that's okay. As
That's
long
the
as
learning process.
Dre doesn't say, "Oh my gosh, that team was a 9.75," and I go, "I had them at a 3.5." What the
Well, it's
heck?
supposed to be only 3 points max, Jack, so we were both wrong.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it would be good, even if we could schedule a couple of those to just have like me, you, and Kat do a scoring party and record it on Zoom and put it out so that people can get an idea of what it looks like. We can switch over to a camera looking at the score sheets. I don't know, something like we can play around with the idea because we're going to need to get used to it too. It's going to take practice just like anything else. So scoring parties are super fun, and we can always start with us doing it, and then maybe we can invite some of our other head judges and people that come in, and then we can have conversation about it. Put them up on the. I think it's kind of a fun way to everybody to learn and practice in an environment where it's like there's no stakes for the player because we don't listen. Anytime you change something, its potential impact, we're going to get it wrong on the player's end. And I think that I can speak for myself. I take it very personally if I look at the results at UpDiff or something for any of our games and I feel like we missed the mark. Freestyle is the only subjective game. So, there is a subjective element to it, and we want to try and make that as clear for our players as possible so that there isn't feeling of that we didn't get the scoring right. And that's a big motivation for us is we want people to have confidence and to continue to grow in freestyle and get paid for what they put on the field.
Yep.
Yep.
All right,
So
guys. We hope that you are excited about these changes. I know that I can't say I'm not a little disappointed that we won't have 2 rounds of freestyle at UpDiff because freestyle is awesome. But I totally understand why we kind of need to make that change. I think that that's possibly the only change that we discussed that is, not a 100% positive thing. I still think there are positives for the players, but it's not 100% positive. But hopefully you'll be understanding of that. And the rest of this, I hope you're really excited about. I'm super excited about the Freestyle Invitational.
Yes.
This will be the first year that we do it, and I think it'll just grow from there. And I just think that would be awesome if it was just like the mecca of freestyle. Like anybody who loves freestyle comes to this. We'll find really cool ways, just like we do with UpDiff, to make it an experience, to make that weekend a fun experience, with other games or who knows, mini seminars. There's tons of ideas that we could do. So we'll make sure that that's a special event for you guys.
Big freestyle party.
Exactly.
that's when Disc Dog Con happens, Kat.
Well, that's when Freestyle Con
At UpDiff is a
happens.
lot. I know, but Disc Dog Con at UpDiff is a lot. But we could do a Disc Dog Con at the Freestyle Invitational.
We'll see.
Under lights, like glowy games and stuff, because it's not a 4 or 5, like for us, UpDiv is like a 7 solid working days in a row, right? At
Right.
least. So, that might be a fun time to add in the nighttime stuff to make it. I mean, not like we wouldn't have something in the evening again at UpDiff, but we can kind of embrace a little bit more of the Disc Dog Con if we only have a 2-day event versus a 4 or 5-day event.
Yep. Yep.
So anyway, put your ideas for stuff that you would like to see at our Freestyle Invitational activities, focuses, any ideas you have for extra games, anything fun like that, put it in the comments. We would love to hear your suggestions. We hope to see you on a field soon, especially playing freestyle. And in the meantime, you guys be kind to each other.
And before you're kind to your animals, we're going to do some far out facts.
Oh boy, we almost missed that.
You have far out facts?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you.
So this should be coming out right before the May the 4th weekend.
Oh.
And I know that a bunch of people,
Be with you.
a bunch of clubs, because I've been doing a lot of the registration stuff lately. I've been doing way too much of it. But a bunch of clubs rather, have events happening on May the 4th. And so you might want to think about maybe just doing a fun little theme and do the May the 4th be with you, kind of a spoof on Star Wars. And so we have some far out facts that you may find fun today. I'll start with the first one, Dre.
Okay.
The first recorded reference of the phrase May the 4th be with you actually happened on May 4th, 1979, the day after Margaret Thatcher was elected as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Her political party placed a congratulatory advertisement in the evening news saying, "May the 4th be with you, Maggie, congratulations." So that was the very first time publicly that somebody had kind of used that May the 4th tag and tied it in with May the Force be with you from Star Wars. Who wants to do the next fun fact about May the 4th?
Put her to work.
All right. Number 2, in 2011, the first organized celebration of Star Wars Day took place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, at the Toronto Underground Cinema. Produced by Sean Ward and Alice Quinn, festivities included an original trilogy trivia game show and a costume contest with celebrity judges.
Oh, so that's where all the celebrity judges went after we kicked them out, apparently.
2011. That must have been that would have been Star Wars Con, right? Bunch of people up in Star Wars stuff. All right. So on Star Wars Day 2015, astronauts in the International Space Station watched Star Wars. Also in 2015, I don't even know what that is. The Carillon Bells?
Yep.
The Carillon Bells inside the Peace Tower on Parliament Hill in Canada played the Imperial March theme from Star Wars, among other space-related tunes.
That's pretty cool.
That is
That
cool.
would be terrifying. If I heard that, the Imperial March, oh my God, I would get in my basement cellar.
Yeah, you and your alien fetishes or whatever, you would be freaked out.
I would be totally freaked out. I totally believe in aliens. I would be thinking it's the end of the world.
All right. In June 2021, it was announced that Carrie Fisher, who played Princess Leia, would receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2022. And she received that star on Star Wars Day, May the 4th, 2023.
Very
cool.
Since 2013, the Walt Disney Company has officially observed the holiday with several Star Wars events and festivities at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Disney had purchased Lucasfilm, including the rights to Star Wars, in late 2012.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it became official in 2013. Okay, cool.
In 2022, the CFDDC, which is my OG club, y'all's club,
Central Florida Dog and Disc Club,
used Star Wars sound effects during their game of Spaced Out to the delight of all in attendance.
Yeah, so if you are looking for some ideas, guys, and you happen to be playing Spaced Out on May the 4th weekend, it is super fun to get some sound effects for the different Spaced Out zones. We had lightsaber.
You can post them up on the group page for people.
We had Chewbacca
and a TIE fighter.
Yeah, and it was really cool. Like to have as the players were hitting the zones, we were doing the sound effects, and everybody had a fun time with it.
It was awesome.
So if I get the time, maybe I'll post those sound effects so you guys can use them.
I was gonna say, buddy.
Have fun out there, and may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. All right, and now can we be kind to each other?
Yes, go for it.
So everybody be kind to each other.
And
Be kind to your dogs.
all right, guys, we'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
It turns out the guys were right.